Hello everyone, I'm Provic, you're welcome to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about compressors. I'm going to do my best to simplify how audio compression works, and I'm going to be using Audacity for my demonstration. So let's jump right into the video. So listen to this clip before and after compression.
To divide the day from the night and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. Now, this particular one that God brought forth up to divide the day from the night and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. Now, this particular one that God brought forth up.
I'm sure you notice how the compressed audio sounded more balanced. That's the power of a compressor. A compressor reduces the difference between the loud parts and the soft parts of an audio, thereby making the audio more easy to listen to and also giving us more headroom to work with. So right now I'm going to be using the real-time compressor on Audacity to demonstrate how compression works. There are a lot of parameters here, but for now we're going to be focusing on the threshold and the ratio. And that's because for compression to happen, there are two main conditions that need to be met. Number one is the signal must be greater than the threshold, while number two is the ratio must be greater than 1:1. So let's head back to our uncompressed audio. So typically I'll use a third-party plugin called ACX Check, which would scan the audio and show the peak level, and this will guide my decision on where to set the threshold level, which is the point where compression starts. So now that I know that my peak level is minus 0.26 dB, and let's say I'm looking to reduce the loud parts of the audio by 5 dB. So typically I will set my threshold at around 6 dB beneath the peak level, and in this case that would be minus 6.3. Then I'd set my ratio at 6:1. So the ratio parameter determines how much the compressor reduces the signal once it goes above the threshold. So in our case, we have our ratio value set to 6.0. That is, in actual sense, 6:1. So what that means is for every 6 dB above the threshold, and in our case, that is minus 6.3. So for every 6 dB above the threshold, it reduces it by 5 and lets 1 through. So basically what the compressor is doing is for every signal that goes above the threshold, it would divide it by the set ratio value. So if it's 6 dB above the threshold, it will divide it by 6, and the answer is 1. So 1 will go through. If it's 12 dB above the threshold, it will divide it by 6, and it will reduce it by 10 and let 2 dB go through. So if it's 4 dB above the threshold, so it will divide it by 6, and that's, you get less than 1 dB. I'm sure you get the idea now. So initially we said that for compression to happen, the number 2 condition is the ratio must be greater than 1:1. So let's put this to test. So currently we have our ratio value set to 6.0, but let's put it at 1:1 and let's see what happens.
Divide the day from the night and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. Now, this particular one that God brought forth up.
As you can see, no compression happened. The yellow line stayed linear all through the playback. So now let's revert back to ratio 6:1 and let's see what the outcome would be.
Divide the day from the night and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. Now, this particular one that God brought forth up.
As you can see, even though we've reverted back to our initial ratio, barely any compression happened, and that's because of our attack time here. once condition 1 and 2 are met, the next key parameter to adjust is the attack time. The attack time determines how fast compression occurs, or simply put, how fast the compressor is acting on the signal. So for our use case, we want a very fast attack to achieve our desired results.
Divide the day from the night and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. Now, this particular one that God brought forth.
As you can see, the yellow line shows us the areas where compression happened, and those are the areas where the signal exceeds the threshold. All right, now, so let's move on to the release time. So the release time controls how fast the compressor lets go after the signal is reduced. So to demonstrate the release parameter on the compressor, I will highlight another section on this audio recording. Alright, so watch what happens with this session over here. So I'm going to activate our compressor, and I'm going to use a very slow release time. So let's see what happens. Observe what happens on the graph here.
And the light was life of men. Okay, and the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness.
So notice how it takes a longer time for the compressor to let go after compressing the signal. You can see it from this graph here. It compresses the signal here, and it takes a longer time to let go. So this is what a slow release time gets you. So let's try a fast release and let's see what happens.
And the light was life of men. Okay, and the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness.
As you can see, it took faster time for the compressor to let go after compression. As you can see, once it compressed the signal, immediately let go. So that's what a fast release time would get you. But for a more natural sound, choose a release time of between 100 to 200 milliseconds. Now let's go to the makeup gain parameter. So the makeup gain is used to raise the volume after the compressor has reduced the peaks. So currently the makeup gain value is at 0 dB, which means there's no increment in volume after compression. Currently on our screen, this meter right here, this is the compression meter. It gives us an idea of how much the signal is being reduced, and this is somewhere beneath -3 and a little bit above -6. Then this meter right here tells us the output after compression. So once it's compressed and the compression cycle is complete, how much signal was let through the threshold. So you can see it's somewhere beneath -3. So watch what happens when we increase the makeup gain to 3 dB.
Okay, and the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness.
As you can see, the volume increased, and it also reflected on the output meter. To keep things simple, we'll just focus on the main controls and leave advanced settings like knee and look ahead, as they are not important for our use case. So we've used the real-time compressor to show how compression works. Now let's apply compression to our audio clip using the offline compressor. The difference between both compressors is real-time compression is applied during playback and export, while offline compression is applied instantly to the audio. For our use case, I find the offline compressor to be more practical, but you can use any of the two once you understand how compression works. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe.